Hello and welcome to Box Office Receipts. I'm your host Tyler Callahan. For the news, we got the latest on Paramount, we got news from CinemaCon, streaming updates, and the latest box office numbers with the latest Monsterverse film now out. Let's start with the domestic top 5. Godzilla x Kong: A New Empire stayed in first place for the second weekend in a row at the domestic box office, earning $31.7 million for a total now of $133.3 million. In second place was Monkey Man, which debuted to $10.1 million. Third place was Ghostbusters: Frozen Empire with $9 million for a total of $88.9 million. And fourth place was The First Omen with a debut of $8.4 million. And in fifth place was Kung Fu Panda 4 with $7.8 million as well, for a total of $166 million. So Godzilla x Kong held up okay, dropping 63% from its opening weekend. That's not a great drop, but what does help is that April is a bit of a quiet month with not many big releases. So if people keep going to the theater, it'll be one of their top options. It's going to take a while, but if it does, I think 200 million might still be on the table. We'll see. As for new releases, Monkey Man did okay as well. I was expecting a bit more, but it's reported that Universal bought the movie from Netflix for $10 million. So for them, it's just that and the marketing cost that they have to make back. Unless this has strong legs, this might not be profitable until VOD sales. One thing that is a little concerning is the B+ cinema score it got. As for 20th Century Studios, this is the year of bringing back old franchises with new films for Planet of the Apes, Alien, and Omen as well. And for the first Omen, it didn't do great. It didn't do great compared to what analysts expected. It underperformed a bit, but one thing that could help it long term is it has gotten good reviews from critics. I do wonder if part of the issue is that no one was really asking for an Omen prequel. If I was at 20th Century, I'd be advertising the great reviews for the film to get people to see it. In China, The Boy and the Heron opened pretty big. It came in first place for the weekend with 34.2 million, and since it opened on Wednesday, its 5-day total is at 71.7 million. Godzilla x Kong: A New Empire came in second place with 21.4 million for a total now of $92 million. In third place was Kung Fu Panda 4 with 4.6 million for a total of 41.9 million. Fourth place was Dwelling by the West Lake, a new crime drama that earned 4.2 million. It also opened on Wednesday, so its total is now at 8.4 million. And in fifth place was The Victims, which earned 3.8 million, and thanks to its Wednesday opening, is now at 7.7 million. For worldwide numbers, Monkey Man earned 2.6 million for a worldwide opening weekend of 12.7 million. The First Omen earned 9.1 million for a worldwide opening weekend of $17.5 million. Comparing the two, Monkey Man opened in 27 markets, while The First Omen opened in 43. Godzilla x Kong: A New Empire earned 59.3 million for a worldwide total now of 361.1 million. Ghostbusters: Frozen Empire made another 7.1 million for a worldwide total of 138.2 million. Looks like this film is going to be really domestic heavy. Kung Fu Panda 4 is now at 410.4 million after earning 27.4 million internationally, and Dune Part 2 is now at 660.7 million. Switching to news in Hollywood, we got the date of the Oscars next year, and it'll be on a week earlier, with it airing on March 2nd, 2025. Nominations for the categories will be announced on January 17th. Now we got some news this week thanks to CinemaCon, but I think I'll organize it a bit better, and let's go by studio and start with Paramount. We will also start with news that didn't break at the event. 4 directors of Paramount's board will not be seeking re-election by shareholders and will be stepping down when their term is finished. It's not clear why they are doing this in the middle of a possible sale to Skydance, but it looks like things are getting messy behind the scenes. As for the studio itself, they announced an extended first look deal with John Krasinski and Allison Seeger's production company, Sunday Night Productions. They also announced that Damien Chazelle will be directing a film set to come out sometime next year. Not much is known about it at this point. Glenn Powell's filmography continues to grow as he is signed on for the Running Man remake over at Paramount, which will be directed by Edgar Wright. That's a great combo right there. There are other films in development at Paramount, including a new one from the creators of South Park. Matt Stone and Trey Parker will work on a new comedy film set to come out July 4th of next year. While I think they're definitely writing the script, it's not clear yet who would be directing. We are getting another Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, except this one is going to be R-rated. That's right, this is a bit odd from Paramount, but it's crazy enough it just might work. So right now it is a live-action R-rated film based on the miniseries The Last Ronin. Tyler Burton Smith will be writing the script and will be produced by Walter Hamada. Also, while it was hinted at the end of Transformers Rise of the Beasts, it's now official as Paramount is developing a Transformers G.I. Joe's crossover film. No other details were announced at this point. I'm really curious how this is going to do at the box office. In a casting update from Deadline, they broke the news that Julianne Moore is set to join the action thriller Control over at Studio Canal. The film will be directed by Robert Schwentek and stars James McAvoy. From Universal, they announced that Five Nights at Freddy's 2 is in development and is set to come out sometime in fall 2025. In an exclusive from Deadline, they are reporting that Emma Stone is in talks to star in a film at Universal that would be directed by her husband, Dave McCary. Not much else is known about the film other than Sean Levy, Dan Levin, and Dan Cohen will produce via their production company 21 Laps. At Warner Brothers, the untitled film, directed by Ryan Coogler and starring Michael B. Jordan, has started filming. It is set to come out next March. Crunchyroll also showed up to CinemaCon, which was a first, with Sony domestic distribution chief Adam Smith explaining anime and what films Crunchyroll got the distribution rights for. In total, they got the North American as well as some other international market rights to 3 films: Haiku, the Dumpster Battle, Blue Lock, the movie, Episode Naiji, and Overload, the Sacred Kingdom. Haiku is set to come out on May 31st in North America, with Blue Lock set to come to theaters in June 28th, and there is no date yet set for Overload. There was a lot of release date news as well this week. An exclusive from Deadline, Lionsgate is pushing back The Crow to the end of summer, now coming out August 23rd. Saw 11 has been pushed back a year and will now come out September 26th, 2025. This wasn't surprising because, look, I know you can produce horror movies pretty quick, but they were really rushing this to come out, so I think it's a lot better for them to take their time and release it. Taking its place will be a movie called Never Let Go, starring Halle Berry, and The Best Christmas Pageant Ever will move up a week earlier and come out November 8th. At Warner Brothers, Superman, the Christopher Reeve story, will get a theatrical release sometime in September. Paramount announced at CinemaCon that they will re-release Interstellar and IMAX in honor of its upcoming 10th anniversary later in the fall. From Sony Pictures Classics, they will release Kneecap on August 2nd. This is the Irish language film they bought back at Sundance. Angel Studios also set a few release dates for their upcoming films as well. Bonhoeffer is set to come out November 22nd. Homestead will come out December 20th, and David, which will be an animated film, will come out November 21st next year. There are a few deaths this week, sadly. Eleanor Capella died at the age of 87. She was married to Francis Ford Capella and was the mother to Sophia Capella. She was also a filmmaker, having directed films including Paris Can Wait, Love is Love is Love, as well as making a documentary for the filming of Apocalypse Now called Hearts of Darkness, which she won an Emmy for. Robert McNeil died at the age of 93 due to natural causes. He was the co-founder and co-anchor of PBS NewsHour. Richard Liebner has died at the age of 85 due to cancer. He was an agent for big TV news anchors and worked at the UTA agency. Rob Weiner died at the age of 93. He was a TV director and worked on shows including Donahue as well as Garfield, Goose, and Friends. Edgar Bergson has died at the age of 76 due to complications from a heart attack. He was a film and TV editor who worked at Industrial Light and Magic. As for shows, he worked on The Young Indiana Jones Chronicles, which he won an Emmy for. And Ron Thompson has died at the age of 83. He was an actor that worked on numerous TV shows and films, including Beretta. Thoughts and prayers go out to their families during this time. And as always, fuck cancer. For trailers this week, we got a few from A24. We got a trailer for Maxine, the last in a trilogy of films from T West, and starring Mia Goth. It is set to come out July 5th. From Apple Original Films and Sony, we got the first trailer for Fly Me to the Moon. The space race rom-com stars Scarlett Johansson and Channing Tatum. It'll come out July 12th. And from Warner Brothers, we got the first look at Joker Folie à Deux, starring Joaquin Phoenix, Lady Gaga, and directed by Todd Phillips. I really liked the first film, so far this looks really good as well, and can't wait to watch it. It's set to come out October 4th. We start off VOD Premium with Disney, where they announced that Wish got 13.2 million views in its first 5 days on Disney+. This makes it the third biggest premiere on the streamer, with the first two being Encanto and Frozen 2. AMC has said that they will be expanding their ad-supported tier to their niche streaming services as well. This means over the next year, there will be ad tiers for streaming services including Shudder, Acorn TV, Sundance Now, and High Dive, among others that the company owns. Over at Paramount, they are shutting down the streaming part of Showtime, with the apps being turned off on April 30th. For Paramount, this will force any remaining Showtime-only customers to switch over to Paramount Plus with Showtime. Paramount Plus released a trailer for the fourth and final season of Evil. It is set to premiere on May 23rd. An exclusive from Variety, they got the latest on what's happening with Star Trek. The animated show Star Trek Lower Decks will end after its 5th season, and Star Trek Strange New Worlds has been renewed for a 4th season. They're currently filming season 3. For new movies coming to Paramount Plus, Bob Marley One Love will be available on Paramount Plus starting April 12th in the United States and Canada, and like some other Paramount films, it'll have a staggered release internationally. Sylvester Stallone has been accused of making a toxic environment during the filming of Tulsa King. This comes after casting director Rose Locke has quit the show, and people on social media have posted screenshots of conversations mentioning that Stallone says the background actors are ugly. Now, there is no video or audio of him saying this, and so far nothing has come from it. To be honest, if the main evidence coming out is screenshots of a different conversation, nothing's going to happen. Hopefully it's not true, but you never know. Over at Sky, they are producing a limited series about Mozart called Amadaro, and will star Paul Bentley as Antonio Salieri, Mozart's rival. As for Mozart, Will Sharp will be starring as the famous composer. The Monsterverse will continue on Apple TV Plus, with the streamer having renewed Monarch Legacy of Monsters for a 2nd season. Not only that, but Apple has reached a deal with Legendary to produce spin-offs as well. What those spin-offs will be about are not known yet. There's a show I still have to watch. I hear it's pretty good. As for what is new to watch on Apple TV Plus, there is a new limited series called Franklin, starring Michael Douglas. It focuses on Benjamin Franklin's time in France during the Revolutionary War to get France's support for America. At Max, the 2nd season of Velma is set to debut on April 25th. The season will have 10 episodes. James Gunn announced that season 2 of Peacemaker has started filming. Since it started production now, I'm thinking it'll come out either in the fall of next year or spring of 2026. And at HBO, a Game of Thrones spinoff is no longer in development. This was the one focused on Jon Snow. In an interview with Screen Rant, he talked about it, saying that they couldn't find the right story to tell, so while they could come back to it at any point and work on it, I think it's unlikely to happen. We got the Netflix Top 10 for the week of April 1st to the 7th. For English films, Heart of the Hunter came in first place with 10.9 million views. The Little Things came in second with 8.7 million views. And The Maze Runner came in third with 6.7 million views. For English TV shows, Three Body Problem stayed in first place for back-to-back weeks, getting 8.3 million views. So it seems like there is a chance this might get renewed. Second place was Testament, the Story of Moses, with 5.7 million views. And in third place was The Gentleman with 5.6 million views. Colin Farrell looks to have found his next film to star in, with deadline breaking the news. He is set to join The Ballad of a Small Player. The film is about a gambler who needs to hide out in Macau while his debts catch up to him. It'll be directed by Edward Berger, and production is set to begin later in the year. I'm a big Farrell fan, so between that and that's actually going to be filming in Macau, I'm interested in watching. You don't see a lot of shows or films take place in Macau. Sadly, in an exclusive from Deadline, they are reporting that Netflix are doing some layoffs in the film division, with around 15 people being laid off. This is part of the restructuring of the division, which is reported to have been in the works for the past month, and a key change being that the division will be split up by genre. Hopefully those affected will be able to land on their feet as soon as possible. Nielsen have gotten the top 10 charts for the week of March 11th to the 17th. In the overall top 10, The Gentleman came in first with 1.8 billion minutes watched. With these numbers, I wouldn't be surprised if Netflix pushed to get a 2nd season made. In second place was Damsel with 1.5 billion minutes watched. And in third was Love is Blind with 1.4 billion minutes. For the streaming originals top 10, some noticeable ones include Apple's Never Fall coming in at sixth place with 476 million minutes. That one stands out as it is on Peacock. Shogun came in seventh place with 408 million minutes, and Master of the Year came in 10th place with 330 million minutes watched. The BBC and Prime Video are teaming up to bring back The Night Manager. This was a drama series from the BBC, The Ink Factory, and AMC a few years ago that starred Tom Hiddleston and Hugh Laurie. Now the BBC, The Ink Factory, and Prime Video will be teaming up to make seasons 2 and 3, with Hiddleston returning to lead the show and series creator David Farr coming back to write the scripts. Filming set to begin later in the year. Fallout is now available to watch on Prime Video, and the reviews for it seem great. They've been pretty glowing. It's at a 94% on Rotten Tomatoes. From everything so far, it seems like it is a respectful and also great adaptation, like The Last of Us, which is great to see. Also, while it has not yet been announced, a second season is likely, as the California Film Commission have given Amazon a $25 million in tax credits to film Fallout in the state for its next season. So as long as the show doesn't bomb, it's full steam ahead. And as if for this episode of Box Office Receipts, if you want to follow me on Threads, X, or Instagram, links to those are in the show notes. Thank you for listening, and see you next time.